Have you ever valued your kids, but then you realize you have a $100,000 life insurance policy on them? Well, today we're going to go over Ronald Clark O'Brien.
Ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Meat Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on. We thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin. We here at Angry Me Production want to thank our sponsor, Mobile Notary Mindy. She's certified with the National Notary Association. She's also bonded and E&O insured. She offers a wide range of services including wills, powers of attorney, medical documents, healthcare proxies, living wills, certification of trust, assignment of personal property, HIPAA waivers, advanced healthcare directives, and 99 verification. You can find her on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Mobile Notary Mindy. You can also visit her webpage at TexasMobileNotaryMindy.com. That's TX, MobileNotaryMindy.com. Thank you so much and enjoy the show.
Welcome, Angry Fabio. Yes, today we're going to go over Robert Clark O'Brien. This is basically it like the description beforehand. It's a weird case. And you ever remember back in the day? I mean, if I remember back in the day, checking your Halloween candy and everything just in case it's has razor blades or anything like that. This is the reason why. He's also named the man who killed Halloween. He's also the Candyman, but we already called Candyman the guy from Houston. But we'll just go with the man who killed Halloween. I'll probably make that the title. I'm gonna have to change some stuff on the title, but anyways, let us begin. His background: O'Brien lived with his wife, He lived with his wife, Danine. I had to look that up. Stephanie Hawking had to look that up. In Deer Park, Texas, with their son Timothy and daughter Elizabeth, born in 1969. O'Brien worked as a obstetrician at Texas State Optical in Sharptown, Houston. He was a deacon at a Second Baptist church where he sang in the choir and ran a local bus program. Back then, the churches usually have like bus programs to go pick up the people for the church. When I went to church back in the day at certain church, they had a bus program. They had like 3 or 4 buses, and they go around the town and pick up people. There is some, and this is getting way off topic, but there was some that picked up the people that couldn't come with the. They had like special buses to pick up people that were in wheelchairs, but that's not the full of the story. We'll go ahead and finish this up with his victim. On October 31st, 1974, O'Brien took his two children trick-or-treating in Pasadena, Texas neighborhood. O'Brien's neighbor and his two children accompanied him. After visiting a home where the uh, occupant, uh, occupant failed to answer the door, the children grew impatient and ran ahead to the next house while O'Brien stayed behind. He eventually caught up with the group and proceeded five 21-inch pixie sticks, which he had later claimed he was giving from the occupant of the house that had not answered the door. At the end of the evening, O'Brien gave each of his neighboring two children a pixie stick, 21 inches. I think it's the big pixie sticks. Hold on. Let me. Yeah, I looked it up. It's the big one. Anyways, it's the one where it's about that big. If you can figure it out. It probably the length of your forearm if you're an adult, which he had later claimed. At the end of the evening, O'Brien gave each of his neighboring two children a pixie stick and one each to Timothy and Elizabeth. Upon returning home, O'Brien gave the fifth pixie stick to a 10-year-old boy who he recognized from his church. Before bed, Timothy asked to eat some of his candy he collected. According to Ronald, he chose the pixie stick. Timothy had trouble getting the powder canning out of the straw, so O'Brien helped him loosen the powder. After tasting the candy, Timothy complained that it tasted bitter. O'Brien gave his son cool. Ooh, that's well, it was Flavor Aid. It was look up Jim Jones. Why it's kind of it's really dark humor and Flavor Aid. At least this guy actually ponied up and gave him actually Kool-Aid. O'Brien gave his son Kool-Aid to wash away the taste. Timothy immediately began to complain that his stomach hurt and ran to the bathroom, where he began vomiting and convulsing. O'Brien later claimed that he had held Timothy while he was vomiting, and the child went limp in his arms. Timothy O'Brien died en route to the hospital less than an hour after consuming the candy. Timothy's death from poisoned Halloween candy raised fears in the community, which we all know. Check your candy, blah, blah, blah. Numerous parents in Deer Park and the surrounding areas turned their candy their children had gotten for trick-or-treating to the police, fear laced with poison. The police did not initially suspect O'Brien of any wrongdoing until Timothy opted revealed that the pixie stick he had consumed was laced with a fatal dose of potassium cyanide. Potassium cyanide. Sorry. 4 or 5 pixie stick O'Brien's claimed to have received were recovered by authorities from the other children, none of whom had consumed the candy. Parents of the fifth child became hysterical when they had not located the candy after being notified by the police. The parents rushed upstairs to find their son asleep holding the unconsumed candy. The boy had been unable to open the staple that sealed the wrapper shut. Oh, God, I was looking in the corner of the eye with that kid. All 5 of the pixie sticks have been open, and with the top 2 inches, 51 millimeters, refilled with cyanide powder, resealed with a staple, according to pathologist who tested. That would be really weird. You know how they show in movies that they test the cocaine with it and like, oh yeah, it's cocaine. Could you imagine the pathologist who's like, I'll test it. Yeah, that's cyanide. And he goes down for the count. Anyways, that'd be a really weird way to test stuff. We have like chemicals. Anyways, the candy consumed by Timothy contained enough cyanide to kill 2 adults. Jesus. While the other 4 candies contained enough to kill 3 or 4 adults. Holy crap. Okay. O'Brien initially told police that he could not remember the house he had gotten the Pixie Sticks from. Police became suspicious because O'Brien and his neighbors had only taken their children to homes on 2 streets because it had been raining. Their suspicion increased after learning that none of the homes they visited had given out Pixie Sticks. After walking the neighborhood with the police 3 times, O'Brien led them to the home where no one had answered the door. O'Brien claimed that he went back there before catching up with the group. He said the owner of the house did not turn on the lights, but did crack the door open and hand him 5 Pixie Sticks. In my mind, just seeing that, you just that's just even the description of that. It's kind of shady. Like, there's no lights. You knock on the door. It's like, hey, buddy, I want candy for my kids. Give me the candy. And you just see this like ominous crack of the door with no lights or anything, just handing you. That would be scary as shit to me. Okay. I don't knock on any door that light's not on. Even with my friends, I'm like, I'll text them. Well, now you can text them, but used to I was like, hey, call or leave the light on so I know you're there and everything. That's how you knew back in the day. The person was there or someone was there. Lights on. Hey, we'll welcome you to our home. But he claimed to have only seen the man's arm, which was described as hairy. The home was owned by a man named Courtney Melvin. Courtney? That is Courtney. I know, the person that listens to this thing is like, oh, he doesn't know how to...
Courtney.
Yeah, Courtney Melvin. Melvin was an air traffic controller at William P. Hobby Airport and did not get home from work until 11 p.m. And on Halloween night, police ruled Melvin out as a suspect when over 200 people confirmed that he had been at work. Ooh, that saved his ass. As the year investigation progressed, police learned that Ronald O'Brien was over $100,000, equivalent about $620,000 in 2023, in debt. Had a history of being unable to hold a job. Wow. Okay. In 10 years preceding the crime, O'Brien had held 21 jobs. What a fucking loser. Good Lord. At the time of his arrest, he was suspected of theft at his job at the Texas State Optical, and had was close to being fired. His car was about to be repossessed. He had defaulted on several bank loans, and the family home was being into foreclosure on. Police discovered that O'Brien had taken out life insurance policy on his children months preceding Timothy's death. In January 1974, he had taken out a $10,000 loan, equivalently worth $61,781 in 2023. Life insurance policy on both of his children 1 month before Timothy's death. O'Brien took out an additional $20,000, equivalent to $123,600 in 2023. The policies on both children, despite the objection of his life insurance agency, in these days preceding Timothy's death, O'Brien had taken out another loan of $20,000 on each children. Oh, he planned this big time. The various policy totally summed $60,000, equivalent to $370,000 and $700. $370,700. $370,700. God, sometimes my brain does not want to work. And this is like late in the evening for me. In 2023. O'Brien's wife maintained that she had not known about the insurance policy on her children's life. Police had also learned that on the morning after Timothy's death, O'Brien had called his insurance company and inquired about the collecting of these policies he had taken out on his son. Excuse me. After learning that O'Brien had visited the chemical supply store in Houston to buy cyanide shortly after Halloween in 1974. And yes, you could... back in the day, of how many things you could buy at like a grocery store or anything else or a pharmacy. I mean, you could buy cocaine back in the 1920s or less, and heroin. Just different times. We learned. In 1974, he had left without purchasing anything after learning the smallest amount available to purchase was 5 pounds. 5 pounds of cyanide. Jesus. Oh, wow. Police began to suspect Ronald O'Brien had laced the candy with poison in an effort to kill his children and to collect their life insurance policy. They believed he gave their children the poison candy in an effort to cover up his crime. Well, that's the reason why he wanted to give it to other children, too. Police repeatedly questioned O'Brien, but he maintained his innocence. Although police never discovered when or where O'Brien brought the poison, he was arrested for Timothy's murder in November 5th, 1974. He was indicted on 1 count of capital murder and 4 counts of attempted murder. O'Brien entered a plea of not guilty to all 5 counts. O'Brien's trial began in Houston on May 5th, 1975. During the trial, a chemist who was acquired with O'Brien's testimony that in summer 1973, O'Brien contacted him about cyanide and how much it would take to be fatal. The chemical supply salesman also testified that O'Brien had asked him how much cyanide to purchase. Wow! In the days now that you can Google this stuff, so I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying that you can. Just don't kill anybody. Don't be stupid like this guy. God. Friends and coworkers testified that in the months before Timothy's death, O'Brien showed unusual interest in cyanide and spoke about how much it would take to kill a person. Jeez, he just keeps on asking people. That's like me. It's like, hey, how much pressure do you think I have to use on an axe just to bash someone's head in? Not making sure that the axe is in my. You know what? Just because I have an axe doesn't mean I'm going to go bash people's head in. Ugh. Brian's sister-in-law and brother-in-law testified on the day of Timothy's funeral. He spoke of using the money from Timothy's insurance policy to take a long vacation and buy other items as well. God, I would be so distraught if my child had passed. I would even thinking the money. It's anyways. As well, his wife rejected the claims that Timothy chose the pixie sticks, stating that O'Brien had in fact forced him to choose the pixie stick. O'Brien continued to maintain his innocence. His defense mainly drew upon the decade-old urban legend concerning a mad poisoner, which there is many of these urban legends, who had handed out Halloween candy laced with poison or needles or candy apples with razor blades inserted. These stories had persisted despite the fact that there are no documented instances of strangers poisoning Halloween candy. The case and the subsequent trial gathered national attention in the press, dubbed O'Brien the Candy Man. On June 3rd, 1975, a jury took 46 minutes to find O'Brien guilty of capital murder and 4 counts of attempted murder. The jury took 71 minutes to sentence him to death by electrocution. Shortly after he was convicted, his wife filed for divorce. I would have done it before he was convicted. Anyways, she later remarried, and her new husband adopted her daughter Elizabeth. I'm totally sorry, folks. Yes, I ramble and I go off the tracks. But 46 minutes on a jury to find someone guilty is actually really, really not that long time. The least amount of time I know of that took for a jury to debrief was like 12 minutes. That's the longest, and it was like open and shut case. But 46 minutes is still a short amount of time. There's sometimes it takes days for the jury to figure out all the evidence and everything. But at the time, men sentenced to death under Texas law were confined to Ellis 1 unit near Huntsville, Texas. That's probably around about an hour away from Houston. Huntsville is it's a prison town. They have like their whole stick is prison. Their whole economic is prison. According to Reverend Carl Pickett, a former chaplain who worked for the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, O'Bryan had shunned and despised by his fellow death row inmates for killing his child and was absolutely friendless. Yes, if you kill children or you diddle children or basically you're a chomo, yeah, they'll beat the fuck out of you. And I don't care if this gets demonetized for that one, but yeah, criminals do. You think a person that killed a man or killed a cop and everything. They're still horrible people. But you kill a kid, they will fuck you up. I'm happy about that. When I was working corrections, there was one guy that they found out that the guy diddled a kid, and I went off on my 4 days off because working in the prison, you get 4 days on, 4 days off, 12-hour shifts. Anyways, I came back from my 4 days off, and apparently the guy that diddled the kid, and you're not allowed to technically learn anything about the person unless you're doing like transportation, going from one prison to another, or take them to the hospital. Now, saying that, they beat him so bad that his brain swelled up and he was mentally challenged after that. So they have no guff on that. They don't care if you're fair game. And I've talked to inmates like, what happens to you when you're put into a position to where your cellie is a pedophile? Their job now is either beat them senseless or kill them. That is their job. If they don't do that by the next day, or some of them need a lot of time frame, but if you don't do that, the other inmates feel that you are someone that goes against children, and they'll take you out. So it's a kill be killed type thing. Anyways, the inmates reported petition to hold an organized demonstration on O'Brien's execution date to express their hatred of him. I could feel that. I would just like, hey, can we see this guy actually die? That's what the inmates did. It's like, yeah, we're horrible people, but we want to see that fucker die. Okay. O'Brien's first execution date was set at August 8th, 1980. His attorneys successfully petitioned for a stay of execution. I know he's just doing his job, but damn. Okay. Second date was scheduled for May 25th, 1982. That date was also postponed. Judge Michael McSpadden? That can't be it. McSpadden? Stephanie Hawkins, please.
McSpadden.
McSpadden. I think it's McSpadden. Scheduled the third execution for October 31st, 1982. The 8th anniversary of the crime, and he offered to personally drive O'Brien to the death chamber. That judge was pissed. It had been the first time Texas executed an inmate by lethal injection. Ooh. By the way, lethal injection is the practice of injecting one person with drugs. Most of the drug is what is it? Potassium. Let me find out. It's sodium thiopental. There's one that was like potassium based. It's basically cyanide. But The Supreme Court delayed the date yet again to give O'Brien a chance to pursue an appeal to seek a new trial. The fourth date was scheduled March 31st, 1984. Man, this guy just keeps on scheming away from this execution. O'Brien's lawyer sought a fourth stay on the basis that the lethal injection was cruel and unusual punishment. On March 28th, a federal judge rejected the request. On March 31st, 1984, shortly after midnight, Bryan was executed by lethal injection at the Huntsville unit. His last bill consisted of T-bone steak, medium well done, if you range, French fries, ketchup, whole corn, and sweet peas, lettuce, tomato salad with egg and French dressing, iced tea, sweetener, saltines, and Boston cream pie and rolls. Anyways, O'Brien's last words were, "What is about to transpire in a few moments is wrong. However, we as human beings do make mistakes and errors. This execution is one of those wrongs, yet doesn't mean our whole system of justice is wrong. Therefore, I would forgive all who had taken part in any way in my death. Also, to anyone I have offended in any way during my 39 years, I pray and ask for your forgiveness, just as I forgive anyone who has offended me in any way. I pray and ask God forgiveness for all of us, respectively, as human beings. To my loved ones, I extend my undying love. To those close to me, know in your hearts I love you, one and all. God bless you all, and may God be best blessings be always yours. Ronald C. O'Brien, P.S. During my time here, I have been treated well by all TDCJ personnel. During the execution, a crowd of 300 demonstrators gathered outside the prison cheering while some yelled, "Trick or treat!" Fucking A right. Others showed anti-death petition demonstrators with candy. Oh my God. Gotta love people. Oh man. That would probably be the person yelling, "Trick or treat, motherfucker!" and tossing candy to the anti-death penalty demonstrators. Let's get through this and I'll get my thoughts on this. Ryan O'Brien, Ronald O'Brien is buried in Forest Park East Cemetery in Webster, Texas. Timothy is buried in Forest Park Longdale Cemetery in Houston. Now, there is a couple of books you can read. The Halloween Poisoning, Houston Trial to Open, Halloween Death Schedule for Man Convicted. It's just news articles. But anyways, my thoughts on this, and like I said, always have to say, this is just my opinion on this. It is nothing that if you take it lightly, you take it lightly. If you take it harshly, you take it harshly. On something like this, and even in the, I have to rethink on the other cases that I've gone. Let me look this up real quick. Like the Watts family episode I did, it's 2 episodes behind me. Psychos and Sociopath, Watts family murder. You look at that, I just can't grasp the concept of killing your own kid. Does he deserve the death penalty? He deserves a lot worse, honestly. If they had a viewing of this guy in hell, burning in hell, and all he had to do is like, "Hey, we're just $5. See this guy burn in hell." Well, I'd watch it because he deserves that. He deserves eternal suffering. Because killing your kid for money is ridiculous. Killing your kid for anything is ridiculous. I hate people that would go. Even if your kid just, unless it. unless your kid's like Hitler and creates genocide, then I could understand. It's like, did you kill your kid? What did he do? What kind of horrible? He did genocide? Okay, I understand. But I can't grasp the some concept of murdering something that was like I said in that episode in the Watts family murder, that you're basically killing yourself in your younger body because it's your blood going into that body. That's what you're doing. You're killing yourself when you do that. And people and he didn't have a care in the world doing it. That's what's baffling. The people that do this is baffling because they do that. Funny new way, everybody. Love everybody that listens to the show. Everybody that just found the show. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me. Absolutely. We are having the website up. We're going to have shirts for sale. If you want to get a shirt, we're going to try to get it as cheap as we possibly can. We're not going to be those people that's like spending some of these shirts that I get. I can afford $44, but they're good shirts. I mean, I love red pill threads t-shirts. Great t-shirts. Love the company. Love the guy. I'm probably gonna have Garrett on sometime soon again, just to have a good chat with him. I love chatting with him. I love chatting with the Destructive Agenda. She's pretty good too. The people that I have on here to boost their companies and everything, I boost them. They turn out to be really, really great people. Really glad they came onto the show and did a couple of episodes with me. I'm trying to get What the Hell back up, but life happens. 2 episodes is my max right now, but I'm hoping to keep on doing the third, get people on there, get people listening, and get other ideas and opinions of other people out there on the show. You have Ever on again. Ever, if you're listening to this again, I'll have you on. Like I told Tyler, your OCD is way out there. And last time I had him on the show, he was actually fixing the old studio up and cleaning it. God bless that little man. Anyways, people, love you guys. Thank you all for listening and watching. Every little bit helps. I don't care if I sell T-shirts or anything like that. This is for the other people that's hosting the show and everything. It brought them out of their darkness they had at that point in time, and I'm so happy for it. And this is bringing out, well, not bringing out. It's helps so many people just talking about stuff. And that's what it really is about, is just giving you a little bit of a time and get away from all the madness that's out there right now. If you want me to do a little bit more comedy on this stuff, just let me know. I'm thinking here I'm probably going to do it this week. I'll probably do the What the Hell episode, just me solo. I'll talk to the other hosts, see if they'll come along. Doing kind of just the workout stuff. I've started working out, bettering my health. Better your mind, better your health. Honestly, if you're listening to this, please take a walk around the block. Do something. Get some sun. I just did an hour workout. I just lifted a couple of weights, ran for about 15 minutes, or strong walk. It was a strong walk. Very strong. I did a strong walk. It's power walking. That's what I did. Basically did that for 15 minutes. Got me sweating, got my heart rate up a little bit. I'm right now, age, and I haven't worked out in a while. That's a lot of people will tell you, yeah, you need to do a little bit more. Yes. But I'm pushing. I'm at 45 right now. I'm 5 more years. I'll be 50, and I should have done this a long time ago, but for my 30s, I was in a depressed state. This is the reason why I do this. I was in a depressed state. A lot of things happened to me in my life. It's the reason why I do this. I lost contact with a lot of people. And if you hear this and you're like, man, you should have listened to yourself and got some therapy. I did get some therapy, and it took me a while for the stuff that happens to me. One day I will do an episode on what happened to me on Psychos and Sociopaths, because it really was damaging. But anyways, man, everybody that supports the channel, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's so welcoming that I have. It is really surprising of how much support I've gotten and who supports me and everything. If you really want to support the channel, t-shirts, yeah, you can buy them. You can give us money. That's not what's going to support the channel. What's going to support the channel is commenting on our videos, like and dislike. I kept up the dislike, and I'm not going to lie. On some of those ones, I just wanted, in the back of my mind, I want to go irate, because I love doing like Don Rickles style comedy. But I'll give you a shout out. Even though there's someone that keeps on commenting is like, I don't know how to pronounce the names and everything. Do a little bit more research. Yes, I don't. I'm dyslexic, and I go over it several times. I have, just to get the episode started, I started doing the pre episode of what's more or less happening with the episode, and it takes me about 5 or 6 tries. It's one of those things, is once you start doing stuff like this, you learn very fast of how much you can't read, how much you can't do it, and how much your tongue gets tied in a knot trying to pronounce certain words, even easy words like the. I've tripped on the. But anyways, everybody, really, from the bottom of my heart, for Johnny, Chris, and Max, the Russian Jew. Thank you. Max is going to be a constant on Nerd Sports, and I'll probably pick him up every once in a while. He's a good guy, and even Steve Fisher that comes on the show every once in a while. He's. I would have had it on this month. He just got his FAA license for drones, and he's doing like really cool stuff. And if you listen to this, reach out and let me see some of those videos. I just want to see them. I'm curious, because I love those little those drone goes in and out, and I hope you're wearing. I really do. I hope you're doing really great. I reached out to a lot of people that come on the show just to say, hey, how's it going? How are you doing? You doing all right? Some of them I can just, look on Instagram and see how they're doing. And I need to get a contact with Andrea in BC, even Eric Tanzi. I need to get a hold of him. There's a lot of people I want to have back on the show, because I've had him on a constant. I really get it back onto that and content. And Cynthia's, she was gonna do an episode with me, and she's going through some stuff, and I'm praying for her. Like everybody should be, even if you don't believe in God or anything like that, or if you don't know if prayer is the answer, get some good vibes. If you want to do that with to certain people, Cynthia is one of those people that needs some good vibes, and it's just her personal life. And she reaches out, but just love everybody, man. Thank you all for listening and watching. Talk to y'all later.